Alright, so we've got a client here and we want to track their funnel in Google Analytics as well as Facebook. So what we can see is we've got a home page here, we've got some product pages, we've got a shopping cart, and we go to checkout, and we've kind of got the buyer's journey mapped out here. So we're going to view product page, or a potential buyer would. They're going to click add to cart. They're going to go to the shopping cart. They're going to go to checkout. The credit card there's quite a lot of pages on that, so sometimes it can be a struggle with the credit card, and sometimes things even get erased if it wasn't done correctly. So it's really annoying. So we might see if we can track that. They click place order from that, and then they get basically an order received message or a special URL. That's this order received URL. So in Google Analytics, basically, we can see our goals under conversions here. Conversions overview. We've got all these different goals set up, which is a bit overwhelming right here. We can look at how are these set up. So earlier, many of these were at 0 because they were not set up correctly. So we've gone in and updated most of them. Let's check it out. So you go under Admin, Goals. Here they are. There's really no way to delete these. If we want to see all of them, we can say 25, and then we can see all the ones we've got. So we basically got it set up for, we viewed these are cast iron skillets based on states. So if someone viewed the Michigan skillet page based on this URL right up here, we can say this was a goal, they looked at this product, and that's this one right here. We've got it set up as they viewed an inquiry, they viewed a product. Goal description, we say specifically they looked at this page. It's based on destination. This was by event earlier, which was not correct. Continue there, and then goal details is equals to, and we don't have to put the entire URL here. We just get this part right here, slash, and then whatever comes after that. So that's what we've got. We've got it equals to, which means nothing afterward, nothing before. That's fine. No need to set up a funnel on this one. This one looks good. So we've got that as is. So we've got those for all the pages, and then we had one for when people go to the shopping cart. That is its own URL. And people could go here, and sometimes they do, without having added something to cart. They're just kind of checking it out. But this is still a stopping point. So slash cart basically is in here. Where do I have that? We're down here. Went to shopping cart page. Same idea, right? Destination slash cart. Okay. And then they go, where do I have this at? Checkout is on here. Went to checkout page, same idea. And then order completed is actually same idea, destination based on this right here. And once we've got more pieces, we're going to set up a funnel, and we can say which pages did they go to before that. Actually, we can really do that now because we're not going to be able to get special events in there like I thought we could. So if they went to the cart page, it'll look like that. And then they would go to checkout, right? I'm just going based on what our URLs are. Make sure this is, I don't know if this is equals logic. It needs to be. Hopefully that's right. And that should be it. They hit place order, and then they go order received. And notice this begins with order received because I've got a bunch of other data or gobbledygook that populates in, and so we don't have this equals to because then it would only be this exact page we've got it begins with. Okay, we can say that. So now we've got a funnel, and we'll be able to see where are people falling out of the funnel here. Notice you can also verify the goal. So before, the way things were set up, we were getting 0% here. We know some people have actually done this the past few days, so that's good. So we'll save this goal. Now what we're missing in here are these clicks in between, like add to cart, click place order, potentially try to enter credit card information, right? We don't easily get into that with Google Analytics, so let's check on Google Tag Manager here. Okay, so we want to track some clicks, including add to cart. It'd be nice to do place order at the end, and potentially even when someone goes to enter their credit card information, we want to see if we could also send that information to Google Analytics. So to do that, we have Google Tag Manager, and just to show this, we already had the developers of this site add this code, which is Google Tag Manager. So this snippet right here sort of like Google Analytics. This goes right in the head tag. We get this from Google Tag Manager, and then there's a second one down right under the opening body tag. So here the body opens up, and then here's this one. I think this part is if they're not running JavaScript, which would be a rare browser, but this is the new implementation of Google Tag Manager, even takes this into account. So we've already got that implemented. That can be covered in a separate video. Let's talk about, now that we've got it implemented, how do we track the clicks? So we've got the account for the client. We got the tag. I have set up the add to cart tag, and I'll just show it quickly, and then I'll show another one. So basically, we say this is a universal analytics, because we're sending this information into Google Analytics. We've got our Google Analytics tracking ID, and then we say this is an event, and we can specify a category, an action, and then I like to send in what page did they click add to cart on, because that tells us what product did they get. And then I created a trigger down here, and I'll show all this in a minute how I figured this out, or how we figured this out. Basically, some clicks, and the click class will be the add to cart button. So, for example, here, let's see if we can do something similar for place order. It's going to be a little tricky because I'm not sure how to mimic that without doing, I don't want to make a purchase here, but let's see if I can do it. So we're in the shopping cart. We could do proceed to checkout potentially. Let's try that. So we will set up, and one thing I will say is, I'll show it in just a minute. Let's do clicks. Let's say we're doing all clicks for a second. What was that one called? Proceed to checkout. Pardon me. Proceed to checkout is the name of it. Let's say we were doing that button. Proceed to checkout. Click. This is the trigger. This is what someone does on the site to do this. And we say clicks all elements, and we actually, before I specify and say some clicks, I need to learn what differentiates that click from others. So I'll create that to just be all clicks basically, and then I'll make a tag, and we'll call it proceed to checkout. So the tag is what fires the pixel or the code we need to fire, or sends the information to Google Analytics. And I've got my tracking ID saved. I might even create a variable here. Can I do a new variable? This is something you can just make it standard because we're always going to have the same ID. Do I know how to do this? Constant. Here's the value. I've got it over here somewhere. Here's their account ID I just got out of Google Analytics. So it's UA, that means it's Universal Google Analytics. In this case, it's 913, 26, 23 to 1. Okay, I think that's right. 4913, 26, 23 1. Okay, good. We'll call this the Google Analytics ID. So we're just saving that constant. We can pull that in, and we'll say this will be an event. It's not a page view. I'll go back to full screen here. This will be clicks. Action is proceed to checkout, right? So we're back on our trigger for the proceed to checkout. We probably already know the page URL because it will be this cart page or whatever this is. Yeah, this is the shopping cart where you click that. But you can pass in what page did they do it from. So on the clicks, that's useful. On the add to cart click, that's useful because it tells us what product they're getting. And we'll put our trigger in there, even though this is still looking at all clicks, and I'll show you why. We want to basically listen for clicks. So we go to preview and debug mode. And now when I reload this page, it'll give me a Google Tag Manager helper down here. And I can look at the qualities of clicks. And one quick thing to say about this is to listen to all clicks, you have to go to Variables, Configure, and when you first do this, not all of these are checked. So we really need all the potential click information being passed in. So you just go here and say select all these the first time. I missed that, and so I was confused last time I tried to do this. Okay, so I'm clicking around the page. proceed to checkout is firing because all clicks are doing it right now. But what we really care is on a click-by-click basis, what variables are being sent in. So one of the things that comes up is, this is interesting, proceed to checkout. It's kind of messy in here, but even in the click text, it's sort of included in here. So just saying click text includes this is not going to be enough. We need to differentiate what makes this click different from the others. So if I command click it to do it in a new tab so I can still see this page, I don't want to jump to another page here. Can we look at that click? I think that was number 8, right? Here we go. Checkout button. So classes was checkout button, and text was proceed to checkout. I guess if we did text equals proceed to checkout, that would be okay, because the other clicks, while they may have included that text because it was on the page, even though there is this weird space in there, that might even make that okay. Basically, we want to say what is distinct about the clicking that button that we can send in. So let's say either of those are good. Checkout button would be okay. The one thing I don't know about checkout button is that class used elsewhere? I'll show you though. Let's do, okay, we can leave the preview mode for a moment. Actually, let me make sure I've got what I need here. Let's take a screenshot. Let's call that the proceed to checkout click, right? So if you're wondering what are we getting at here, what's the point? We just want to isolate that click. Let's go back to our triggers, proceed to checkout. And now we're going to say this is not going to be, oops, it's not all clicks, it's some clicks, specific clicks, and they have a quality of classes checkout button or proceed to checkout. Let's do I just don't know where else this is used. I only want it to be here, but I guess we could test that by seeing, is this button getting clicked from other pages? So if we go the classes route, it'll be checkout / button contains, what's our options here? Starts with, could be another one, potentially. Checkout button, that needs to be exactly what this right here. All of these conditions are true. Okay, here we go. Here's what we can do. We could do click text equals, so both of these need to be true. That's perfect then. Proceed to checkout. So in case that is somewhere else, proceed to checkout. Okay, these both have to be true, and then that's our trigger. That looks good to me. So we can test again. Let's go to right up under publish. We go preview and debug mode, this little arrow. Let's try it again. And this is not necessarily one we actually want to track. I just want to show how we do this. So let's reload here. And what we want to say is we want a negative test and then positive test and see if it's working right. All right, so we've got our updated tag manager here. Facebook pixels firing. Add to cart is not firing. Proceed to checkout is not firing. And as I click around the page, proceed to checkout is still not firing. That's good, because with any of these, the variables are not returning true, basically, based on what we said the clicks need to be. And then, here's the moment of truth. So let's command click this so it opens in a new tab. I do not see it firing. So something got thrown off there. When we click that, we want this one to jump up here to say this tag fired in this page. So it's not working yet. Let's go back to our triggers. Proceed to checkout click. I wonder what it's not liking. Let's try contains. Let's just try that. Sometimes you need to test different variations. It's very literal. It's exactly this criteria or nothing else, basically. See if we can get that tag to fire. And I do always like to negative test and positive test. In this case, we're less worried about false positives because it's strict criteria with 2 criterion. There we go. It popped up there. So when I hit proceed to checkout now, that did it. This tag is firing when I click the proceed to checkout button. So that's great. And we could be sending that into, I'm going to leave preview and debug mode here. Let's go back to our tag. If we wanted to send that into Google Analytics, we could. Let's change the name just to keep it consistent so we sort of know. Google Analytics event, proceed to checkout. Here's our event type. This all needs to be in Google Analytics as well. So we would do a goal under admin, goals, and I'll show you the add to cart one we did earlier. Basically, so we'll say that was an add to cart event. I'm just showing you it's an event, and then the details are, I only did clicks on this, so that's no longer going to be detailed enough because we're going to have different clicks potentially. So for add to cart, let's go back to our tags a minute. Stay here. Proceed to checkout. So let's say we're doing a proceed to checkout one. It's fine. Or custom, there we go, okay. So proceed to checkout click. This one isn't necessarily a super valuable goal, so I don't know if we'll keep this one. But what we could do is say, so the category equals clicks, action is proceed to checkout, and I'm getting this from right here. And then the page will be that cart page. So that's how we would do this. I don't think I'm going to create this goal because basically we've got went to checkout page, right? I need to look at all my goals here. Went to checkout page should be the same thing, so we won't do this click. Let's do another click though. Let's do, what we do want to track is place order in case anything goes wrong in there. So can we do that? Say we're in checkout. I've already got all this info in here. Credit card's not entered. So let's say we did place order. I would like to track that click. So let's do some false testing. And notice place order could well be in here. Sometimes when you click around a page, place order or that button's text will show up in here, so I just mentioned that as a caution. And let's say I click this and I don't have credit card info, so this should be okay here. Say I do that. Did it record that click, and did we get that button? Is it that one? So we've got 12 clicks on the count right now. Let's see if we place orders. Should be 13 or 14. I'm not sure. Place order. There we go. Click ID is place order. That's a pretty good one. That should be specific to that. So let's go and make that the event then. Let's go. Click is actually going to be place order. We're going to repurpose this. Okay. Let's go back to our trigger. Sorry if I'm making it confusing here. This is just a more valuable thing to track. And what we'll do then is, what was the distinctive piece? It was click ID of place underscore order. That's pretty good. Click, some clicks. Okay, save that. Let's preview and debug just to test. And let's do it again. Reload this page. We'll see about our tags here. So I'm clicking around the page. I'm not getting any other tags firing. I hit place order and it goes. So this is part of what we want to know is, are people hitting place order but then not completing the, not getting through And maybe it's, this was an issue in entering all this information on this page. So I think that's valuable that they hit place order, but then we'll be able to say they did not, based on did they go to the complete page, they didn't get to that step. So I think that's something to add into the funnel, so that's why we'll track this. Looks like it's working, so I will leave preview and debug mode and publish this tag. And just say what this version was, added place order click for Google Analytics. So that should be live now. And we can even, for Paranoid, we can triple test here. And we should see it in Google Tag Assistant in Chrome, if we've got that extension. All right, I'm clicking around, and again, it's going to be up in here. I don't know if it'll be Analytics or Tag Manager. Let's see if I hit this. I've got that button, and it may need to go. I may need to have it sending to Google Analytics before that happens. I think I do. Well, we do have an event in here. Hey, there we go, place order. So the event is getting sent into Google Analytics, so that's good. Now, it's not necessarily set up as a goal yet, so let's do that now. Let's call it custom, place order click, event equals clicks, and I'm pulling this from in here. Basically, we need to send out of Tag Manager, and we need to receive into Google Analytics, place order. This is the part that makes me paranoid because it's finicky and I have issues with this, so let's just try this. If that equals place order, 0% in the last few days. You don't always know by that. Can we do begins with? Regex. Regex is more like contains and begins with is begins with. Let me try that. And maybe I'll come back in a day here and just see if we're a few days and see if we're getting any that way. And we notice in the add to cart clicks, see, I didn't say what's the action. So if both of those share the clicks category, we need to be specific in terms of what differentiates these clicks. We can pull in our Google Analytics ID from our variable. Add to cart is the action. So can we do equals add to cart? Do we get any that way? We do get some that way. So it looks like that one's going to be okay if we get another level of specific, and the label is just going to pass in the page. So that's okay. All right. So that's how we do the clicks.